In politics, a defector is a person who gives up allegiance to one state in exchange for allegiance to another, in a way which is considered illegitimate by the first state. More broadly, it involves abandoning a person, cause or doctrine to which one is bound by some tie, as of allegiance or duty. This term is also applied, often pejoratively, to anyone who switches loyalty to another religion, sports team, political party, or other rival faction. In that sense, the defector is often considered a traitor by their original side. International politics. The physical act of defection is usually in a manner which violates the laws of the nation or political entity from which the person is seeking to depart. By contrast, mere changes in citizenship, or working with allied militia, usually do not violate any law. For example, in the 1950s, East Germans were increasingly prohibited from traveling to the Western Federal Republic of Germany, where they were automatically regarded as citizens according to exclusive mandate. The Berlin Wall and fortifications along the inner German border were erected by the Communist East German Democratic Republic in 1961 to enforce the policy. When people tried to defect from the GDR, they were to be shot on sight. Several hundred people were killed along the border in the Republikflucht attempt. Official crossings did exist, but permissions to leave temporarily or permanently were seldom granted. On the other hand, the GDR citizenship of some inconvenient East Germans was revoked, and they had to leave the home on short notice against the will. Others, like singer Wolf Biermann, were prohibited from returning to the GDR. During the Cold War, the many people illegally emigrating from the Soviet Union or Eastern Bloc to the West were called defectors. Westerners defected to the Eastern Bloc as well, often to avoid prosecution as spies. Some of the more famous cases were British spy Kim Philby, who defected to Russia to avoid exposure as a KGB mole, and 22 Allied PAS who declined repatriation after the Korean War, electing to remain in China. When the individual leaves his country and provides information to a foreign intelligence service, they are a HUMINT source defector. In some cases, defectors remain in the country or with the political entity they were against, functioning as a defector in place. Intelligence services are always concerned when debriefing defectors with the possibility of a fake defection. Notable defectors: Mikhail Baryshnikov, dancer, defected to Canada in 1974 while in Toronto, touring with the Kiev Ballet. He later moved to the United States. Walter Polovchik, miner, defected to the United States in 1980 at 12. He and his parents moved to the United States from Soviet Ukraine in 1980, but later that year his parents decided to move back to Ukraine. He did not wish to return with them and was the subject of a 5-year struggle to stay permanently. He won the right to permanent sanctuary in 1985 upon turning 18. Grigory Semenov, the leader of the White Movement in Transbaikal, defected to Manchuria in China and then participated at the Bureau of Russian Emigrants in the Manchurian Empire, which was supervised by Imperial Japanese Army. Genrik Lyushkov, the NKVD chief in the Russian Far East, defected to Manchukuo in 1938 under Great Purge and then cooperated with Imperial Japanese Army. No Kum-sok is known for having been a lieutenant in the North Korean Air Force during the Korean War who defected to South Korea. On September 21, 1953, he flew his MiG-15 to the Kimpo Air Base in South Korea, claiming that he wanted to get away from the Red Deceit, and is often associated with Operation Moolah. Heng Samrin, a top brass military figure in Democratic Kampuchea, defected to Vietnam Vietnam during the Khmer Rouge purges of the Eastern Zone after considering the fate of Safim, his superior in command. Riyad al-Assad, founder of the Free Syrian Army and the entire Talas family during the Syrian Civil War. Viktor Belenko, a Soviet Air Force lieutenant who sought political asylum in the United States in 1976. Benedict Arnold, a colonial general who during the American Revolutionary War defected to the British Army. Orlando Hernandez, a baseball pitcher, defected from Cuba on December 1997 to the United States. Igor Guzenko, a Soviet cipher clerk who defected to Canada and released information regarding Soviet espionage activities in Western society, credited as one of the triggering factors for the beginning of the Cold War. Larry Allen Abshir, the first of 6 American soldiers to defect to North Korea between the years 1962 to 1982. He died in 1983 from a heart attack while residing in Pyongyang. Rudolf Nureyev, world-renowned dancer, defected to France in 1961 while in Paris, touring with the Kirov Ballet.